talk about the security dilemma, so-called security dilemma, uh, in say, large-scale AI, large-scale applications of AI or large-scale development of AI.
I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions around the security. You'd want to know about maybe model injection, or may have heard about this term and want to have a discussion on that. Basically, when non-state actors can enter a particular model platform and bias the data, then it can start creating a lot of discrimination, or the output will not be as required. So these are some of the things that we would like to discuss with all of you today, and these are important topics which are becoming very, very important for all the organizations which are deploying AI models or in their cloud or in their premises, because these can lead to very, very deep impact. It could be positive and it could be very highly negative also. Think about the cyber attacks that happen on a nation's website. You might have heard that a lot of people, non-state actors, are government of India's websites when they try to hack in. That can lead to lot of damage. So these things are becoming very important. So you'll also hear terms like responsible AI.
Among the top 5 risk items, the 5th item is cyber security. Risks around cyber security. Your bank accounts can become zero in no time. Your property valuations, because they are running on some kind of modeling logic that what is the valuation of your property can be devalued at any point. So economic turmoil can happen, stock exchanges can be kind of disrupted, and these run under very, underlying AI models are also there. Now, Sir was saying one thing which is very interesting, that when we look at AI, it is not a phenomena that has started from 2020. It is something that has been happening since the World War, almost during the World War phases. So why has it become so resonating or relevant? I think 3 principal factors here. One is the availability of data, or the big data paradigm, where AI can be trained. The second one is computational power, which has increased immensely today. Like, what can you do with the data and how quickly you can use it? And the reach of the technology. Do you all know like how long it took for ChatGPT to reach 100 million users in a month? Any guesses in the audience? How long did it take to reach 100 million users in a month? It just took 2 months for the diffusion of a technology like that. So the mass reach of technology is the third factor which I attribute to the reasons out here. Now, from a risk perspective, if you are a person who aspires to have a career around risk in AI and you want to mitigate that, supposing you were called upon to meet an organization, a business owner, and who was planning to kind of use AI. For example, NSHM, like NSHM using AI, like how could they use AI? What are they to look at if they were to kind of guardrail against the risks associated with it? I think there are 3 primary elements to it. The 3 primary elements are data. That what is the data on which I train my models? Where do I look for data? How do I maintain the 3 key rules of data, that is confidentiality, availability, and integrity of my data? The second is model, that what kind of models do I use to derive analytics, analysis, insight, whatever you may call it.
So dilemma is at a level where, for example, Dr. Pramanik was mentioning, there is a high gain that you would get from these LLMs today. The quality of output that you can get from these LLMs is something that was really not there before, right? But then with that comes an extreme risk. So when you are advising somebody, right, advising a large organization to use AI at a large scale, bear in mind, this is large scale means there is very less plant being placed, right? It's not a group of 10 people and then you are using it so that in case something is going wrong, 1 question out of 100 goes wrong, there is somebody to say that, well, this question has gone wrong, right? It's large scale usage, the 100 million usage of ChatGPT, right? So wherever it goes wrong, there is a high risk if you have used that in a scenario where you have invested, there is a lot of money or social eminence involved, right?
If we look at the research trends around even AI, the adversarial AI research has skyrocketed. Like I was looking at ResearchGate and other papers, 6,000 plus papers in the last 3 to 4 years around it. Okay. Now, very interestingly, he brought up the point about dilemma. Okay, like what is the essence of dilemma? The worldview is also very divided around it. Whether you look at extreme experts like as they say, the father of modern AI, I think he was speaking about some people, and also like Geoffrey Hinton, who kind of worked with Google till some time, and now he has resigned to talk about the risks of AI very vocally. So at one end where we have people like Geoffrey Hinton who's talking about, almost hinting towards a artificial general intelligence of sort from machine learning, like he's hinting towards capabilities and how risks could unfold out of it. We also have a very balanced opinion from people like Professor Michael Woolridge, who's in Oxford and who's also part of the Alan Turing Institute. They talk about AI being just technology step advancements.
I think the results are being felt by the young generation. So with this, I open it to the audience. If you have any question.
Good evening, sir. Sir, my question is, with increasing implementation of AI, has security to privacy concerns increased? If so, then how to regulate it?
Not with a categorical yes or no, but with an example, okay? For example, I think the fourth panelist, someone spoke about, could have spoken about multiple use cases about security deployment in AI in terms of, say, facial recognition technology or citizen surveillance. When you talk about citizen surveillance or security, imagine like a large congregation of people, like a Kumbh Mela or even Ganga Sagar Mela or something, and you're deploying AI to kind of understand what is the dynamics. So you are deploying that with security to understand if there is any, so a lot of cameras, etc. are surveilling. Now, that is fine, but imagine you feed in a layer of facial recognition on it. Every individual is identified. Where are you going? When are you eating? What are your ritualistic habits? What are your religious beliefs? That is also being captured out there. So is there an intrusion into privacy? That is where you're saying. So the answer is not, as I said, a categorical yes or no, but it is something that is deriving a lot of benefits in terms of predicting failures.
What I'm going to say might sound a little controversial, but one thing is, with this AI and data collection, there's a lot of debate about privacy, right? And this, I find, is all of a sudden it has come just because data is being collected in some central zones and electronically. If I think of my childhood, my Mahabari is in North Calcutta, and everybody in the Pada knew everything about everybody else. Where was privacy then? It might have been localized. It might not have been with some central agency or somebody else, but it did not harm. Nobody thought about, what's happening to my privacy. Even the bank details was known to each other. No, there was no problem about it. So now all of a sudden, when it is about AI, why is this huge hype about privacy? I mean, what are your thoughts, if you can just...
The problem is if you say something about, say, your fan in front of your mobile, then suddenly after some time, you will see the different advertisements of the fan. So that is the kind of privacy we are losing. Okay. So that is one thing. Then again, the internet TVs are also like that. I mean, they are. I heard that there was some camera and something in front of the TV, which were not declared. Okay. And they used to focus on the face of the listener or viewer. And then from there, they used to find out the TRP and things like that. So that is the thing which is happening. I mean, as was discussed, I mean, it is not good for the state to always have some surveillance on you. Okay, that is the basic, case of democracy. Okay, so in democracy, you should not be always surveilled.
So there is a concept of consent and trust. There is a regulation, I think, which is called the GDPR regulation. Many of you may have heard, if not, look up on mobile, which talks about PII, personally identifiable data. So imagine you are due for a promotion, or you are due for something. Someone finds out that you are ill for the last 5 years, and some kind of model tells that you may not be fit for the job while you are. So have you given consent to use that data against you? You spoke about bank account. If something, I mean, all our accounts are open for multiple vulnerabilities with the sharing of that. So the trust, consent, and to what usage? Like I was speaking about data model. So data, yes, we are okay to share. What does the model do with it? What is the usage? A good usage is fine. I was speaking about old age homes with surveillance. But a bad usage, that a house remains empty because the mother and the child goes out to school, what can happen out of it? So essentially, I think, just if I may say this as a panel, speak for all of us, that we are all for technology. AI is the coming wave. We have to embrace that technology in whatsoever ways, because there are many benefits out of it. But I think there needs to be conscious understanding of how we can deploy it to beneficial use of humanity.
I think there was a, when we are talking about a community, there is an inherent sense of checks and balances. That you have trust. The number of, the most unknown person in that pada would be like 3 levels away, 3 degrees away from you. You know a person, know a person, know. But in this large scale world, it is sometimes much more difficult to trust. And even if at a low probability level, the amount of malicious actors can still be high, and the amount of harm they can do to you has become high because of the inherent digitization, right? So that is something we need to be careful about and safeguard ourselves. It's not something that can stop us, or it will not stop, but we just need to be